Today's guest conversation is with a former outfielder first baseman for the Texas Rangers, Mr. Jason Botts. Here's episode 83 of the Baseball Forward podcast. Jason Botts, Mr. Botts. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm great, Ross. 83. Well done.
Hey.
Well,
I know.
Well
Crazy,
done.
huh?
That is not an easy thing to get to.
Well, and you would know that in the world that you're in. And you know what's crazy is I look back at the last time you were on, it was episode 55.
Mhm.
So I'm thankful for it. And you know what? I would like to say, Jason, that from episode 55 to 83, I think I'm getting smarter.
Did we talk about it? But when I was a long time ago, when I was doing the podcasting thing, someone told me that it'll take you 45 episodes to hit your groove.
Really?
Like someone actually told me that. I just remembered that. So that is not a surprise. Like you take a quantum leap.
Well, and what's crazy is this is what's fun is I love doing it. I love talking and all that. But man, you know what? You know where I see it's translating for me the most is when I'm helping my boys and coaching. Like I'm learning from you guys so much. And I almost feel like, oops, I'm gonna steal that and I'm gonna use it. But what a beautiful ecosystem of knowledge. But I truly I feel like I've learned so much just listening to you guys talk about the game. And for me, it's a treasure, man. So 83, man. I hope we will keep going and going and going, and things are blowing and going. So, how are you today? I'm excited to kind of pick your brain.
Good, yeah. You know me. We can just get rolling because I will ramble forever about anything. So let's not. Oh, we've already covered all that stuff. Let's dive in. What do you got for me today?
All right, man. Well, number one, I want to start with. What's the deal with the USC sweatshirt? Like, why are you repping the Trojans? Why not like UCLA? What's the special USC sweatshirt for?
Well, I actually have 40 different schools.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Let's go.
When you don't go to a university, you get to be a fan of them all.
Yes. Good point. Hey, let's talk about that. There was a comment I saw in social media. You went to a junior college. Where were your offers out of? Where were your offers?
Okay, yeah. So I grew up kind of in no man's land in California on the Central Coast, which is close to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo.
Ooh.
So that was my one scholarship offer. Was to play ball for them way back in the day. It would have been I graduated in '98. I think that they were only like 5 years into being Division I, I think, at that time.
Oh, wow.
And then in a total random way, Cal Berkeley was interested, but I went and took a visit up there, but they were like, hey, we've got no money. But that was kind of really exciting because it was Pac-10 days, like it was the glory days.
Yep.
And so there was some interest but for me, I had this dream of going to USC. Or like in Arizona State. I mean, those were the big dogs.
Absolutely.
Way back in the they were the big dogs for a very long time, but me being in high school was the 90s, and USC was the number one program pretty much at the time. And so I did end up going to Cuesta in San Luis Obispo for a semester, which was a junior college, decided that I wanted to transfer down to LA and get a little bit further away from home and kind of grow up and maybe hopefully play some different level of competition. So I was at Glendale Community College for the next year and a half. And I actually, so this one actually is a little bit more special because it was my dream school out of high school. I came home after the spring season was done, and there was a voice message from John Savage, who was the recruiting coordinator at the time, the assistant head coach for Gillespie.
Really?
Yeah, his voice message was like, hey, here's our offer. Because my head coach at the junior college was a former USC guy. So he was in his ear quite a bit. And so I actually never talked to Savage. It never got too far, but they had an offer left on my voice message. I was pumped, jumping up and down. 20 minutes later, the Texas Rangers called and said, hey, we want to sign you, because I was a draft and follow. And so it was before the draft. And so those two times they synced up on the same day within 30 minutes. And so I have 40 different schools because I love college baseball. I love the colors. I'm a hoodie guy. but when I do wear the USC one, it is a little bit.
Hey, you know what? Hey, I
Makes you feel
graduated
18, 19, and having that dream and that fire and that
Yes.
passion that you want to go and achieve all these things, it does connect a little bit with me more. So
Hey, I graduated 98 too, and there no question USC was on a short list for me, like dream, right? Like even with Texas and USC, Arizona State was a school that we dreamed of.
yeah.
I was talking with Jason Botts on episode 83 of the Baseball Forward podcast today. Interesting, like you know that the path to the major league level is not a straight line, right? And it's not a straight line for anybody. And I'm curious to kind of I want to hear more on what your path was like, because there's a lot of guys that listen and they see the finished product. Like to me, Jason Botts, you played in the major leagues, man. There's nothing else like that's it. That's a pinnacle. So that's like the finished product. So people who know you, they see you as like, hey, he was this finished product. So I want to know the path. Like, here's my first question. When did you realize, hey man, I think I'm different? Like as I not just, hey, I could play pro ball, but I think I might have an opportunity to be a big leaguer. When did that kind of kick in?
Ooh. There's two different moments, I think. The moment I knew something was different was actually when I stepped foot on the professional field for the first time. Because I grew up in this small town, and you always heard about how great everybody else was, and our area doesn't get a lot of attention. And when did the junior college thing, and for whatever reason, like scouts were always like, yeah, he has a lot of potential, but like, yeah, he's not ready, and you're not talked about a lot. Not a lot of teams express a lot of interest. So when and even the Ranger scout, I love him to death. The guy who signed me was Tim Fortunio. And I was actually his first sign. So I think he really grilled me really, really hard to make sure that, this draft and follow kid was going to be worth, pushing for. And so it wasn't until I got on this professional field out in Florida and I looked around and I'm like, oh,
Okay.
I'm way better than these guys.
Wow. Oh, dude. Hey, that's
a very confident, arrogant statement to make, and that doesn't mean it was easy, and there was tons of lessons learned, but it was like, when you grow up, I think maybe insecurity is not the right word, but like you're present to how great everybody else is in this big country. And this is before social media. Now people know how great everybody is. True. Do you hear this and you grow up in where nothing is given and everything is earned, like what felt like tenfold? You got to earn it over and over again and to warrant any kind of opportunity. And then you step in, you get your chance and you kind of look around and it's like, oh, and that was the huge advantage of that difficult path was like, I had so many teammates who like I knew from like Baseball America and the prospect list and all this stuff. And they came from prestigious academies and organizations, in the youth and the amateur levels. And like, I saw so many of those guys phase out because like everything had come so easy. And the guys that people don't know now because they never made it, but it's like there was so many of those guys, which I'm inclined to make a point too, is that because I know we mentioned in the last podcast like how much I probably consider myself more a baseball dad than anything else these days than a former Major League Baseball player. But it having what I call like the dirt road backdoor path, not being very good in high school, maybe kind of getting good at the end of my senior year, and then getting into a junior college, and then signing out of a junior college as a low round draft pick. As a father, like there's like being a late bloomer is almost what I know, and it's how I feel like add value to the boys. It's like I'm struggling for the right word how to describe it, but it's like there's not a lot of fear of he needs to be on this team, he needs to be doing that, he needs to be at this level at 13. It's just like, dude, there's time. Like,
Yes.
wait
Yes.
for your body to kick in. Like all these struggles
Mm.
that you're going through, and you're, you know, not playing well, not performing well, but you're putting in the work. I'm like, dude, this stuff will all pay off. And if it doesn't pay off on the ball field, maybe that's an opportunity, but you're going to
That's
be
right.
better off for it
That's right.
in the long run. Like you've developed, like I always talk about resources versus resourcefulness. And it's like growing up the way that I did, like I became really resourceful in,
Mm.
um, I mean, it all is, it's emotional based, it's a thinking process. And like that was, I felt like the core to my ability to make adjustments and to deal and be resilient and deal with the failures of climbing the minor league ladder. And yeah, like that's the stuff that I'm always trying to preach to the boys rather than, are you going to throw faster? Are you going to hit the ball harder? Are you going to hit it farther? Kind of the physical aspects. Like I have a feeling like that stuff will come in time. And as we get to the later stages, you know, when they get to be juniors or seniors or whatever, like, okay, like we'll dive into some of this training technology and the specifics, but like let's build you a foundation of like the resourcefulness of the inner game, seeing
What it's going to take to get to the big leagues.
what it's going to take to be successful at anything in life.
That's it. Like, and to me, when I say what it's like to get to what it takes to get to the big leagues, what it takes to be successful in life, it's like the big leagues are. It's like a microcosm of life, right?
Well, yeah, and we use that term big league, like not to talk about Major League Baseball in my
Correct.
house. Like I'm always, I'm like, you know, me and Sarah, like we're raising you guys to be big leaguers.
Yes.
And we ain't
Ooh, I
talking about
like,
baseball. We're talking about being the best of the best of whatever field that you want to go after.
love
You know,
that.
if they're getting to the age of 16 and almost 14 years old now, where it's like, yeah, I believe you. I've seen that you're putting in the work. You want to be ball players. You want to pursue this thing. But it's like, you know, what we're trying to teach and instill in you is like, you know, how to have this mindset and this mentality of like being the best you could be or being the best of the best of whatever it is you want throughout life.
So pause on that because I have an 11-year-old, I have a 10-year-old, and I have a 7-year-old, and my boys are 11 and
You're
10.
tired.
Yes. Not as tired as I once was.
That's true.
Right.
We're starting
Hey,
to get there a little bit.
so what I want to ask you is I want advice because I'm the same way. I'm gonna tell you this right here. Hey, I'll never let I was drafted in the 31st round by the Dodgers. And you know what my signing bonus was, Jason? $2,000. And it says, please, hey, bonus check in the amount of $1,400 less any necessary deductions in 2002. That was my bonus.
Nice.
And,
Did they split that up into two parts?
yeah, no, hey, I got it all at once. And I remember when I signed the scout that I signed, that signed me was Mitch Webster, former Pirate, and we met at a Chili's in Omaha and signed that. And he basically we chuckled about it, and he said, "Hey, don't blow it all at once, okay?" So when I had it, you know, you deposit it, and I go down to Manhattan, K-State with my buddies, and the whole running joke was, I mean, $1,400 in 2002 for seniors in college. That's so everybody was calling me a thousandaire, and we were, you know, but here's what I want to say. Like, there's something about you. There's like an edge, a quiet confidence, but there's edge, man. I know there's dog, and I know you can't get to that without dog. So like, what I want to ask is, I want to teach my boys like the art of having the proper chip on your shoulder, wanting to, and I'm throwing out words because I want to try to draw it out, what comes to your mind, but like the underdog, the dog, the don't expect it, no entitlement, don't get, hey, expect failure, expect uncomfortable. And I want your advice on how do you prepare those boys when you and your wife, Sarah, hey, we're raising big leaguers. What is our standard focus to have that edge?
I don't know if I could articulate a great answer at the moment, but what is coming to mind, you know, it's very interesting. Like, now we're going to get way out of sports for a minute, but
Let's go, baby.
You know, there's a lot of really good studies of like how people who are they come from nothing, or they're self-made successful people, and like the percentages and the probabilities of their kids being as successful or better is like really low. You know, like I grew up in an apartment, like a single mother, like we moved into a house, like things were always really tough, like growing up. And so I know that is part of my edge. And now we're in a really comfortable, well-to-do place. And it's like the kids don't grow up in the same environment, right?
For sure. Yep.
So we've actually been really mindful of like never spoiling or making things sure that they're putting in the work to earn their opportunities as well too. And it's like, I mean, there's probably some really extreme cases and things and stuff that we've done, but like we've always looked for opportunities to make sure that like what we've achieved and what we've attained like isn't automatically given to the children, right? Like I want them to have the experience of wanting things and desiring things. And you know, there's a lot of other things where like I have a lot of knowledge in the game and what can help them, but like I've always waited until they've really struggled before I come in there. And it's always like I feel like we've created this environment of youth baseball too, where it's like we give the answers before they even know to ask the questions.
Boy, that's good. I like
And
that.
you know, like I grew up as a hitter, like I didn't have any private instruction. Like I just had, I'm gonna take my bat, I'm gonna take a bunch of swings, like I'm gonna watch big league guys swing and I'm gonna try and model some stuff. And like one of the things I think is like it takes a lot of bad swings to have a great swing. It takes a lot of bad swings to become a great hitter someday. Like, and I spent just a huge portion of my childhood and my teenage years, and probably some of even my first couple years in pro ball, just doing the wrong things.
Wow. Yep.
And it's like I feel like there was so much value in it when I look back on it. And it was like, no,
The failures.
the failure and going down the wrong roads and trying out the wrong things. And because you know, once you do it wrong and then you figure out how to do it right, like you know you're doing it right. Like there's a different level of confidence to it. Like you don't question yourself, you don't doubt yourself as much. Like today's generation, especially too, if you're bouncing around from hitting instructor to hitting instructor, it's like you're always thinking about like what could be different, what could be better. Should I work with this guy? What can he do for me? I don't know. I feel like there's something to it that it's like, you know, it took me so long to figure out my swing. It took me so long to figure out my approach. But once I had it, like you weren't going to get me out of it.
Wow. You say this, and like I always find it so fascinating to listen to you because, dude, you're like Aristotle. Coach Ward, Gary Ward, he'll say he's big on it's an exploration. And it's an exploration of the imagination. And he tells a story of Robin Ventura it going off. And he'll tell the story. And I'm gonna be minimal with details because I don't want to butcher it up. But he tells the story of him being out at the stadium at Oklahoma State, taking batting practice at 1:00 in the afternoon. Just Robin Ventura and Coach Ward. And they've got a mirror and he's looking at things and he's seeing, they're evaluating. But Coach Ward was saying what essentially what you said. I'm not there to speak. I'm there to help when he's processing the information he wants to and the way he has to for it to work for him. And he said, I literally watched this guy turn into a big leaguer that day. And he goes, what you said, boom, I found it. Man, I know how to do this. It's an exploration and not many. And I think that's why it's so special to get to the big leagues because so many people, me included, quit the exploration out of frustration, whatever the variables were. It's an exploration to find your best, to find the best version of yourself. It's like a constant pursuit. When I say exploration, like, what were the exploration variables for you? Watching guys, listening, what was it for you?
Well, initially, so I always talk about creativity and imagination.
Creativity and imagination.
Which I think is exploration, right?
You nailed it.
And I always talk about creativity and imagination, like in our youth when we're living life in general, but definitely when we're playing ball. And this is where we're really messed up with eliminating, for the most part, unstructured play, right? From sports, like playing in the yard, playing down the street with a bunch of kids, playing at the park, and everything getting really organized, really structured because we move from team to team, from early ages now. I think unstructured play really allows a lot of time for creativity and imagination. You're trying to play some sort of game that really isn't a game, because it's like you have 3 guys and you're trying to play a baseball game. Like, how do you do that? And you start, putting yourself in different environments, different situations that you're really never going to find yourself on an actual baseball field. And I think there is an exploration, there's a creativity, there's an imagination. And I really feel like those are the fundamental blocks that lead to the ability to make adjustments later on.
It's like a bank.
I think you might not find on those, in that unstructured play or in those environments, the creativity and imagination, the exploration, whatever we want to call it. But it's like you begin to like wire yourself to try things out differently, or to think of what other options might be possible. And then it's like you literally like wire your brain to think a little bit differently from time to time. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're 28 years old and you're in a 2-2 count, and you step out of the box and you're rattled and you're not sure what to do next. And it's like you wire yourself, or you go down this neural highway, and it's like, wait a minute, like, what if I try to do it this way? This at bat. Like for me, that's what the adjustments are, right? It's like it's a little exploration of what could I do differently to produce the result that I want right here. And I think at a young age, like, we create the pathways to do that type of stuff. And like, I don't want to take anything away. Like, you make the major leagues, like, you deserve all the credit in the world.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm not going to take away to the way that the game is played today, because they're big leaguers and they have the right to play it any way that they want to when you reach that level. But it's like, I do feel like there's that exploration, creativity, the imagination, the ability to make adjustments. Like, this is stuff that's kind of missing a little bit in today's game. And I think it all goes back to, like, we've over-structured and over-systematized, youth development.
And to me, because we're sitting here talking with Jason Botts on the Baseball Forward podcast, episode 83 today. I just think you like lessons and when you say unstructured, to me, it's like structured doesn't sound fun. Structured is boring. And baseball is a game, man. Isn't it meant to be fun? And to me, if you're telling me the way I have to do it to have the success that you think is success, that doesn't sound fun to me. Now, we might agree that that's what success looks like, but long and short, structured, boring, unstructured, limitless.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Well, the way I always try to look at it is like, there's nothing wrong with anything. Everything has value at the right time and the right stage.
Good point.
I always think of like, but I think one of the most important things is like, what do you build the foundation on? Right? Like, I feel like the foundation is always going to be your default. If we're talking in baseball terms, like how you learn how to play the game as a very young player, like from whether it's a toddler or you're, in kindergarten or your first, second, third grade up to, being 12, 13 years old, like those are the foundational years for me. So it's like, what you were taught is most important, is what you're at that young age is what you're probably always going to think is what's most important. So it's like, if I'm out there really playing for fun and really trying to enjoy myself, or if I'm in a really competitive environment where I can tell that the coaches and the parents, and they really care about winning, that's what's going to carry us through our lifetime. Like, we all are ruled by so much of our childhood, right?
That's right.
I think that applies to sports as well too. Yeah.
Do you I want to take it down a path of because you have such a wealth of knowledge in your head that what you've seen, what your eyes have seen with the game. So if you were out watching a game and let's just say, hey, Jason, I'm your friend and I'm an accountant and I don't know anything about baseball. Jason, let's go watch some baseball together. And I need you to, and we're out evaluating players and you're deciding whether or not chance, no chance. Okay. And let's say puberty's already taken place. Okay. Like when if you're out evaluating a guy and you say, hey man, his swing has a chance. What are the things in your mind that stand out about a guy that has a good chance to be a hitter for a long time?
Great example. Now we can actually tie it back to what you were just talking about. So we can close that loop. If I'm sitting, and I do, my best friend here who's trying to create as much this travel program within this valley is an accountant. And he's also
no way. Sorry, Ed.
No, but what the kicker though is like he was him and his identical twin brother and their little crew from Aspen are like at one time were the most accomplished ski mountaineers in America.
Wow.
So like they had this long list of like first to climb over 6+ 20,000 foot high mountains and ski down them. First to do the North Ridge of Everest. I know there's been some controversy about this whole Red Bull thing going on, but they were the first Americans to go down with no oxygen from the North Ridge of Everest. And he's got this long list. So like he's a total badass and you wouldn't know from talking to him because he comes off like a total accountant.
Yeah.
But I've been teaching him the game a lot for the last 5 years because he really does love baseball.
What's his name? Just curious.
Steve Marolt. Him and his identical twin brother, Mike. Great dudes. Both accountants.
Awesome.
But anyway, so when I'm talking to him, I'm always talking, we'll get in this debate. He's like, they got to swing faster. They got to do this. And with his oldest son, especially, he's a senior now. I've always talked over the last 4 years. I was like, no, he's got to move differently. His ability, like what you specifically pose as the question within a swing or within a defensive abilities is like, how are they moving? Like, are they relaxed? Are they fluid? Do they look like they're trying to control everything? And I think that's elements of these structured systems that we put in place in youth development, where it's like we're focusing so hard on mechanics. We're focusing on another aspect I have is like these really competitive tournaments where you have to produce results. And we're talking about 8-year-olds. Like we need to go out and we need to get a hit. Like what kind of like my son at 13 this summer, like he started the year really slow and he's like, he's looping, he's swinging underneath everything. And so like conventional thinking for most of us would be like, hey, he needs to like really focus on getting a little bit more down on the ball, a little bit more top hand. Sure. And my take, like I talked about it a couple times with him, but it's like, one, like I don't want to give like this huge mechanical cue to him so that he's always thinking about it.
Oh, wow.
Like I want him, like we're going to talk about it a little bit. I want him to find it on his own time because I believe he's going to do that. And yeah, it's tough. Like I'm sitting there beyond center field fence in my chair. The coaches, they want to win this game. So they want him to figure out some sort of adjustment in his swing. But like and my kid is struggling on the field. Like, but I just sit back and I'm just like, let this all work out in its own time. Like if I've got to drive 3 hours to this tournament and watch him go 1 for 7, like so be it. Like it's an investment in his long-term future. I'm going to find other things that make me happy and enjoy the moment and appreciate everything. Like,
man, that's good.
I'm going to let him go through it. And I was just writing an article, I think it's coming out on Friday. The same thing, like, what I got really big on. One thing I became really present to this summer that I never have told the boys is it's too close to take.
It's too close to take.
That common adage that we say as coaches, parents.
Yep.
But with the strike zone, and you're talking about youth baseball, and the strike zone can be this big.
Oh my gosh.
And the ball's this far off the plate, and they're like, it's too close. I'm like, dude, take it.
Because it's not a strike.
It's not a strike. And there's going to be a day where it's going to be a ball and you're going to be great.
That's right. And you're training your eyes now.
I'm like, I'm sorry, coaching staff. I'm sorry. I was thinking of my son Lennox right now. Like, I'm sorry it sucks right now that you didn't get it. Well, the boys are actually pretty good about it. But it's like, I think it'd be more like, sorry, coaches, sorry, parents, that we invested all this time to go travel for the weekend and my kid's not protecting the strike zone. But you know what? In the long run, like, I think it's going to be really good for him. And I think I would encourage your kid to do the same, right?
Oh, and I'm begging parents to listen. He got to the mountains.
It's hard.
You got to be patient, but that is such a mature approach, Jason. And it takes a mature approach that of somebody that did it, because it takes maturity and it takes understanding. I want to add on to this and then you finish it. But there was a post that we did on a podcast with my partner, Jim Schwanke, who was the hitting coach for LSU way back in the day when they were winning all the national championships. And he said exactly what you said. And he goes, we're yelling at the kid because he struck out looking at a ball and the umpire called the strike. And you're yelling at the umpire who's 16 years old that can't see anything anyway and doesn't understand the strike zone. And we're all losing our stuff. Therefore, the kid loses his confidence, when in reality, we should be saying, keep training that eye, keep training that eye. So what I want to say to you is, it takes that maturity.
Because I personally, well, I'm sorry.
Is that the message? The maturity?
The maturity?
Like, it takes
maturity. The parents or the kids?
Both. Yeah, that's right.
Patience is like, I've been shocked at how much patience. Like it requires more patience, I think, as a parent than it does as a player.
Absolutely.
Because in the player, you're in it and you're doing it, and it's like, you're giving your best and you're having fun and you're enjoying. But when you're the parent, especially if there was a study that I heard the other day that like 87% of parents feel responsible for their kids' future success. Like, that's not that like how much has changed so quickly. Like, that wasn't our parents.
And that's so irrational.
Feel responsible, like making sure that we're there in the right situations, in the right environments, and they're getting the right things. And like, so, and I'm no different. I just think that, like, because of my experience, because of a lot of knowledge I've gained outside of the game too, like, I just have a different perspective on things. And so it's like, I'll create environments, but like, I'm creating environments that hopefully they learn the lessons that I know are going to serve them the best, without like giving them the keys to it. And so, so that's why, like, I'm always shocked too, like, on how much, like, I've got to be patient in the whole journey of it too. And I try to write a little bit about that for this next Friday, but it's like, yeah, like the strike zone, because when you get to the highest levels of baseball, and especially if you're looking at that really elite class that they're talking about warranting a draft selection.
Yep.
And more now than ever, like, you'll see the scouting reports and they're questioning the hit tool. And it's rarely about the quality of their swing. It's more about their strike zone awareness, like their ability to make contact in the zone, which for me is mostly an approach thing, or it's they have too high of a tendency to chase out of the strike zone.
Yes. And
that's one of the things that I wrote was about Nick Kurtz, and like, Nick Kurtz, like, in his success, and it doesn't always translate, but like, dude, his strike to walkout ratio at Wake Forest, and especially for being a big guy, was like out of this world.
Really?
And the other guy who found very similar, and it's funny because they went different ways in their approach to hitting at the big leagues. And like I said, that's their choice. But Schwarber was the same way when he was at Indiana. It was like this massive, like, dominance of the strike zone, even for a big, burly power hitter, And
I'm interested. So, like, I'm just thinking about being out at practice with my boys, and we're saying, you always hear swing at strikes. Hey, like, guys, I want to know the importance of, if I'm taking the ball, why we should be applauding the kid for taking the ball. Because if I swing at the pitch that's 2 feet out, why is that detrimental to me as a hitter? Why is it important for me as a hitter physically to swing at strikes?
Yeah, and we have this. The problem, one of the problems is that youth baseball, especially, is so not baseball. It's like this modified version between the bats and the field sizes and all this other stuff. Like it's like calling pickleball some form of tennis, right? Like they're different games, right?
Yep.
There's some similarities, but they work and operate completely differently. Especially hitting, like the speeds at which balls are traveling at, and the deception and the movement that's going to happen when you're at 60 feet 6 inches at really high levels of high school or you get into college. It nothing at 12-year-old translates to that.
Sure.
And oh man, did I just lose my train of thought?
I'll get you back on.
You get me back on.
I want to know this. Why is it important? I know this sounds basic. Why is it important to swing at strikes?
Okay, because here's the thing that we can get away with at the youth level is we can not swing at strikes and we can be successful.
We cannot swing at strikes and be successful. Okay.
And especially if you're talking about some of these bats, these U-trip bats, right? Drop 5, I can swing at a pitch way up and out of the zone and I could pop it out 220 feet down the right field line, right? Like, but that is a swing decision in a pitch that you're probably not ever going to do that again when you get into real legit big boy baseball.
Sure.
It might happen, freak of nature type of thing, but for the most part, like that swing decision's like it's not going to carry over.
Is the like,
and I want to break it down even further. So like
ahead.
I always hate writing about the boys, and it's like I don't want to ever like put them off as like going to be the next big thing or whatever it is. Like I'm just trying to share some of the things that from all my experience and all my knowledge, what I thought was most important for them to learn both on and off the field. And like, so like mechanics was never a discussion in our home. It was always you observe the result. And then you try to, if it's not a result that you want, you try to figure out a way to create a different result. But one thing I did teach them very early on, by the time we started getting into this, they were like 10 and 8, and like I'm starting to flip balls, I'm starting to throw balls to them, is like it was the 9 quadrants of the strike zone. Because even more than, hey, if it's a strike or a ball, it's like I want you to know like which zones are you like, so you know you're only going to, I want you could either tell me like where was that pitch located in the strike zone. You know, if we go 1 is up and in and 9 is all the way down and away, like, you know, that pitch was a 2, it was a 3, like what zone was it in? And then eventually you can work that over the years into like, okay, which zones do you see yourself hitting the best? So that's like when we get ahead in the count, like you're starting to think out of a young age, is like, okay, I'm hammering, you know, 2 and 3 really well, or I can't think of the strike zone in my head right now, but you know, I'm hammering these zones really well, these quadrants. And but then it's also, then you can start working on, you know, actual hitting zone discipline. So it's not just strike or a ball, but it's like I'm going to throw to you and you're going to wait it out until you get a 4.
Love it.
And you know, that's one of the things that like I know the boys like at their very young levels right now, and they've not played in high level competition stuff because they're in Colorado, but it's like I've seen them get in behind in the count so many times and they've racked up so many strikeouts looking because like they know the zone. And
that's beautiful.
And it's like, and that's where it's required a lot of patience from me, and it's required them. But here's the thing, like I've never been afraid of them failing. Like it's just another opportunity for them like to have a bad result and have to go deal with it in the dugout. Like that's valuable. Like, so it's not a complete waste of time. If they go and I'll think of times we've driven to Junction 2 hours and like, you know, they'll have 3 at bats and they swing the bat 1 time.
Wow.
And it's like, that's not a waste of time.
Yes.
Like, especially if you can teach them to just enjoy being on the field and enjoy being with their friends and playing catch. And like, as a parent, like I'm just sitting in in the chair getting a Saturday afternoon just to relax and watch my kids, like that's a great freaking day. Like the fact that they went, 0 for 1 with 3 walks, or they struck out looking 3 times, it doesn't matter. Like,
because here's why. If they're able to, let's just say they're 0 for 3 with 3 punch outs and the balls, they weren't strikes. When you get to the major league level, or you get to the higher levels, you see it on TV, they have that rectangle. If they don't put it in that rectangle, it's a ball. It's a free base, right? And so why would we not be so hyper focused on knowing what we can do with inside that rectangle? That makes total sense to me. And you said it earlier. You said, is it patience for parents? I'm like, boy, I'm like, oh, thank God I heard this, because I'm like, okay, that's what it's going to take for me. Well, because hey, the pressure probably on you to have 2 boys that are playing baseball and you're a former big leaguer, and Bots' kid went 0 for 3, or he went for 1. But this dude's zone awareness is elite.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good thing you bring up the box, which, God, boy, would I have loved to hit in the big leagues with that box on the
No
TV.
joke.
Holy cow.
No joke.
Right. Let's hold the umpires accountable. Like that's probably changed hitting more than anything, I think. Because they used to have leeway. Like if a veteran was on the mound, like, and you're a rookie in the batter's box, like he could throw that thing 6 inches, and that pitcher out there, the veteran, that star is going to get the freaking call.
Yeah, that sucked.
And so that changes a lot of things. But like bringing that point up, it's really important for people to notice, I think, whether they're young ball players out there, or the parents would like. And you want to talk about the supports of strike zone, like watch the first couple pitches, especially with the starters, since the starters, for the most part, they're still trying to work some level of command, with their arsenal. I think so many of the relievers, it's just like, I'm going to throw it as fast and spin it as hard. I don't care where it is in the zone. Like, I'm just going to rip it. But with the starters, like you'll see a lot of guys, like, they nibble with the sinker down and away, and it's just barely off. And then, then maybe they try to nibble at another part of the plate, and it's just barely off. And then watch where that next pitch is. It's usually not right there on the edge of the plate. It's usually right down Broadway, somewhere in the heart of the plate. Like your discipline to take 2 borderline pitches and what you might get something down Death Valley. It's like, it's not every time, but we're in an age of analytics. Like I'm sure there's something that's going to say, hey, it's way better. And one of the things that I always talk about with the boys, and I have them when we're watching big league games and stuff, is like, even Judge on occasion, he definitely gets some pitches that it's mind blowing that he can get to. But like that guy, most of the time, all he's doing is he's hitting hanging sliders, and he's hitting fastballs right down the middle. And you watch the best big league hitters, and they're not teeing off on backdoor sliders. Like they have that ability from time to time, but like the best guys are the ones who are they don't miss mistakes.
This is what scared me when you were talking earlier. It's what scared me is you said, watch the starter. And I'm thinking, this is what I used to feel. Nibble. Oh crap. 2-0. Now I got to go in there.
Yeah. And there's a psychological aspect to it as well too, right? Like Judge, I'm sure there's a Statcast number. Judge sees the most hanging sliders, I imagine, of anyone in the big leagues. And why is that? Because guys like don't hang it. Like, oh, I got to come into this guy. Like, don't make a mistake. Good point. It's the Bonds effect, is what I used to call it. Like, you go and watch Barry Bonds home runs, especially that second half of his career, and nobody was throwing him a strike. But when they threw him a strike, it was right down the middle of the plate.
Man.
Like, and he didn't miss it. He never missed it.
Yep.
And he deserves all the credit in the world. But it was like, I call that Bonds effect, when like and Judge has gotten to that place the last couple of years because of being a great hitter himself. And he is like, I think I used to call it being a predator at the plate when I was in the mental coaching business. It was like he's got such that aura when he comes up to the box now that it's like they're either going to spike it in the dirt or they're going to hang it.
I'm going to submit this to the philosopher Jason Botts. I'm going to submit this to you, my friend, and I'm going to say this. Is it a hanging slider? Is it a hanging curveball? Or is it just a slider that has to be in the strike zone? Because if I'm telling you this right now, if I'm throwing to Jason Botts and I'm throwing you and I'm saying, hey, I'm going to throw you here, I got asked this question once. Ross, if you were going to throw 10 curveballs, how many of them would be in the strike zone? I was like, well, I tried to say the right thing. I'm like, 3 or 4, and then I'd be right around it. He goes, so my ability to stay off the stuff out of the zone makes that the hanging curveball, makes that the hanging slider. So is it a hanger? If I have, because it's I remember coach told me, his slider's nasty. Well, it's because it was in the dirt, and anything's in the dirt's nasty. What do you think?
No, really good point. I guess I mean, I think we could even get into physics on this one. But it's like if you throw it up higher, like it's going to break later. So it's not that it has any less break. It's just that it's going to break a little bit less because it's up in the zone, right? Which is really interesting because, like in my mind too, like you there are some hanging sliders. Sure, there is the cement mixer that right, like you didn't quite get it right. And it's funny because someone hit a home run in the series, and they called it a hanging slider, or it was a hanging curveball or a hanging slider. It was just to your point, right? Like it was just like it was 6 inches up higher than what it should have been, and what would have made it bite a little bit more as it got to the plate, as opposed to probably biting that when it got to the catcher, right? So, and I remember thinking like, well, that really wasn't a hanging breaking ball when the announcer called it one. It was just one that was up.
That's right.
And, so you called me out, but I kind of started an awareness.
No, but no, it's not calling you out. It's trying to educate the importance. Hold on. Number one, the difficulty of being able to throw your curveball, your slider in the same, like it's easy to bury it because your margin of error is so wide. It started in the strike zone, then buried. But now it has to be in that zone. So when you're telling me that you're training your boys zones 1 through 9, and they're staying in that rectangle, that's what I'm envisioning. I'm like, boy, if the swings are there, that is elite type patience training, because that's what matters to make a good hitter is, hey, the first thing that you say, he got you out. What did he get you out on? Oh, it was a slider. Was it a ball or a strike? Oh, it was a ball. Then why'd you swing at it? You're out, right? Yeah. All right, I'm gonna take this about 5-10 more minutes with Jason Botts. Man, I love listening to your mind work. Thoughtful.
I wish Sarah appreciated it as much. But
come on, Sarah, come on. Hey, I want to give a plug real quick. Have Bat Will Travel Thoughts by Jason Botts. Look that up. JasonBotts.substack.com.
Substack, yeah, we're on.
Yeah,
Substack.
so guys, his stuff is awesome, and it's just thoughtful, and it's like, you know what I like about your not just the writing, but the your content is, it's creative, it's fun, it provokes me to think about it, and I'm like, to go back to the beginning of this podcast is, it's an exploration, it's creativity, it's imagination. Like I want to think about things differently. I don't want to just be, I want to be creative.
Well, yeah, and that brings up a good point too. Like, and I'm always writing about this, but kind of like the most common and prevalent thinking that's going on today is the way that youth sports in general and the business of youth sports. It's like the people who have the biggest narrative in the game right now are the companies with the biggest marketing budgets, right? Ooh. And it's usually and we're hearing this stuff and we're seeing this stuff on our feeds all day, and it's like it just keeps getting passed around in the stands, and it's like what development has become is something that's been constructed by businesses, and it's gotten away from the old adages of the game and the old heads in the baseball wisdom and stuff like that. And it doesn't mean that things don't need to grow and evolve over time, but it's just like I just feel like there's so much being passed around and circulated that people just kind of begin to accept it as fact. What there's like a line of it, if you tell a lie loud enough and often enough, people will begin to believe it. And I think with the writing, or any opportunity, it's just I might not know what the hell I'm talking about, I can be open to that, but it's like I just want people to think like take a time to think for themselves. Like,
Yeah.
you know, where my mind always goes is like, okay, if you do this, like I know what the short-term result's going to be, but like what are potential possibilities of how that might unfold in the next 5 years,
Yeah.
in the next 10 years? And like there's just too many things that are going on in the game today that it's like I understand that makes sense, but like I see some things going a different way in the next 5 to 10 years if you continue to think that way or do those types of things. And so that's why like a lot of my work, I'll call it like counterintuitive, because it's like the opposite, which is going on a lot right now. It makes sense, but like in the long run, either from my baseball experience and my back road path, and a lot of stuff that I've learned outside of the game is just like it just doesn't add up to me sometimes. So
it makes me think of the closest comparison I can in the world that I think about pitching, and I think about why do we have so many Tommy John surgeries? We've never had more pitching gurus and programs to go become the best ever, and people can't stay healthy. The major league hit batting average last year in 2024, I believe, was 240. The average major league batting average was 243. We've got more facilities, we've got more instructors, we've got more gurus than we've ever had before, and the product at the highest level from an average perspective is the worst it's ever been.
Yeah. This will show you how my mind works. And this is totally a joke. I think there's a lot of legitimate reasons and it's probably a multitude of different, things that are going on that are causing all these arm injuries from young ages, even to the big leagues and stuff. But I was like, wouldn't it be really fun if we find out in a couple of decades it was like chemtrails or like water or something? People were getting hurt.
I'm gonna be dead before the truth comes out, and I'm like, dang it! I hope I'm alive so that I get to know what it really was, right?
Yeah.
That's funny though, because but to your point, like you said, counterintuitive. It's not. Jason Botts is not saying he's right. He's not going to tell you he's right. I'm going to tell you he's right because you mastered. You were like, I don't care. You're an expert, whatever degree that is. So, he's not telling you he's right. He's telling you, think about it. Don't just trust anybody and everybody, and it looks good, it sounds good, and if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, right?
Yeah, there's so much, I think, because the world doesn't really function on common sense anymore in a lot of cases.
No.
And I always say counterintuitive only because of the state of the world sometimes. I actually think it is really intuitive stuff. Like what we tend to do, especially the core of success, the core of mastery is the same in any endeavor. Endeavor. I can't say that word right now. Okay. It's the same in anything. And like we tend to put things in specific contexts and think that they're different somehow. It was like there's a guy who lives here too. He was a former major league pitcher. And he has a like 8 or 9-year-old daughter right now, and they're getting this is a big lacrosse area, and like they're really getting into lacrosse, and they're starting to go to Denver. And it's like he went to him and his wife, it's like the full court press of the importance of travel ball in the organization, and the academy was like talking to them about all this stuff. And I'm like, I know your story and like how you came up through baseball. And I mean, like,
better.
All that stuff applies.
Yes.
Yeah. Like you have a girl, like he's 6'9", like his wife is 6'2". What? I'm like, your daughter is going to be okay.
Yeah, she's gonna be an
She's
Olympic volleyball player.
yeah, and like she's a really like really she seems really coordinated and moves around, and like I'm like more than like she's probably could have a scholarship in the next year, probably, right?
That's a really good point though
It's
to
like
end on.
don't like it's the same thing as baseball. Like I know how your journey through baseball, like things haven't changed. Like
Wow.
it's all different and handled now, but like the rate of growth and development it's gonna be the same. So it's like don't feel pressured like you need to be spending every like they were talking about like it's every weekend and there's kids in our area. So it's a 3.5 hour drive to Denver. There's kids that are families that are doing that drive 2 times a week for practices
No
and then
thanks.
going back on the weekends. And I'm like, dude,
Hey, and just like I think about it from this, I asked my boys 2 years ago, year ago, and we were they were asked to guest play, and I'm like, no, we don't. I don't believe it. I'm just like, what? That's not fun. I want to be a part of a team. That's not
yeah,
my team. I don't even know those guys. But they said there's going to be 4, 5 games, whatever it was, and one of my sons said, how many games in a day is that? And I said, there'll probably be 3 max. And he goes, no, that doesn't sound like fun. That's not
good.
fun, dude. Who wants to play 3 baseball games in a
Three.
day? Like, I don't want to do that. And I'm like,
And when did that when and that's why I think like parents, whether you played or you didn't play, um, we have such short term memories
man,
that it's like, wait a minute, when did this start?
yeah,
And who made the decision that it was going to be this way?
that's right.
And you rarely find that it was like it was past parents with experience. It wasn't former players with experience. In a lot of these cases, like when we talk about the tournament structure, like it was someone who saw a business opportunity
Correct.
and like to no fault of their own. If you're gonna get people to sign up, you get people to sign up. Like, I think it's a hard decision to say like we're gonna change the travel ball structure because it's no longer the right thing to do. Like that's gonna be like a really big leap, right? So
But I think the message is that there's going to be the people that you're not going to influence with logic, okay? But to the people out there that do listen to logic, that do listen to a Jason Bott say early in the podcast, you said it's going to be okay. We got time. It's going to be fine. Like and to those people that actually choose to listen to it, a lot less stressful, a lot more fun, a lot more what it was intended to be. Because when it's all said and done, what's it for anyway?
exactly. And that's one thing I think I want to make sure that I say here too is like I was talking earlier about the core of success or the core of mastery is the same in anything. It's like I think I wish I knew that I wish more parents knew that if they were successful in their own career and they looked at how that developed and how they probably didn't start out in that field or they were interested in other things at an early age, um, that it was long and it was difficult and they had to earn their way into it. It's like that's the same as one, that's the same as sports. Two, no kid's gonna play sports forever. You're gonna, even if you have a successful career, like you're gonna go off and do other things. Like, so you're gonna need to know how that works as well. Is that making sense?
Dude, it makes so much
So
sense to
like,
me.
so
We
we're
don't apply the rules, the fundamental rules. We don't apply
yeah,
those rules, and all of a sudden we're in sports and we lose our minds. Oh, it doesn't work that way.
no. So
What does?
one of my things actually that I'm trying to articulate it better because I want to write about it is like I actually believe in teaching. If we're gonna do high level youth stuff, like I want to teach kids to be professional athletes over this drive to be in college because I feel like the drive to be in college is like a race. But if you understood the actual things that it requires to be a professional, long time athlete,
Wow,
we're talking about a ton of inner qualities. We're talking about discipline. We're talking about
wow,
maturity. Like, we're talking about all these fundamental things of being a professional that you actually have to own to be a professional at anything.
wow.
So it's like I need to find a way to write
That's
about it
it.
or talk about it better. But it's like we need to teach our kids how to be professionals. And if we use sports, like, I don't see the problem. Like,
here's the analogy that I think of what you just said, because I say it all the time. And when I work with guys with recruiting stuff, and I'm just like, I need to know what your goals are. I need to know what the long-term goal is. And if I'm dealing with a guy, and he says, I want to play college baseball, I'm like, then it's a no, because you have to want to be a professional. If you want to be good and you want to have this success at this stage has to be the goal. That's where the destination is. And it's like the idea of shoot for the stars and you shoot for the moon, you follow whatever that stupid phrase is. But that's the point that you're making, it right. It's like you gotta to get to that level, like it's goal setting.
Mm-hmm. I've actually questioned that about myself before. There was another guy who made it to the NFL. Okay. A friend of mine quite a few years ago, and we were in a conversation about this one time, and we'll go like, when I was a kid, I always talked about making it. And he had the same experience with football, and like, he had a couple games as a quarterback, I think, with the Rams, but like, he didn't have a long career, never really got on the field much. And I was like, it's kind of the same way with baseball. Like, I always talked about making it. Once I got there,
wow,
I was like, I think there was a part of me who wasn't really sure what I was supposed to do.
Oh my God.
And I looked at like some of the guys, even the guys like Texas, we had plenty of guys who were superstars, but we had guys, especially in that era, like there's relievers and stuff and guys who had 10, 15 years of service time. And like my observation of them was like, they were men. Like they weren't the most talented in the world, but like they were like, and the way that I describe it of over the last 5 years, it was like they showed up like providers, like on a baseball field. Like they were going to do all little things. They were going to be really disciplined. They were going to be incredibly serious and focused whenever it came time for them to put work. They're going to have a blast and laugh and giggle and have a great time. But it was like there was such a discipline and a focus and a level of maturity that like I did not have.
Boy, think about this. Think about that. You got two guys on this screen right now. I got drafted. You got drafted. You both had the opportunity to play professional baseball. I was the exact same as you. I think my professional career was about getting drafted. It wasn't about. It was like a singular event, and then it's like, okay, well, you're here.
Yeah.
And
I want to play pro ball.
Yeah, and I'm like, what is pro ball? Like, what am I doing here? And I remember this, Jason. Like, I don't tell this to many people. I guess I am now, but year 2 of my professional career, I'm seeing guys around me that were way higher rounds getting released in spring training, and they're not releasing me. And I was so low on confidence at this point, and just a mental. It was you get it, but I had the pitching coordinator came up to me, and I had an outing against all the brass was watching behind the backstop, and Kim Ang and all the whatever their names were. But I faced like Alex Cora, a couple other guys, and man, I was good. It was good stuff. And when I got off the field, I remember going to the first base dugout on one of those backfields, and my pitching coordinator comes up to me and he goes, because I was the first guy that got promoted out of the 2002 draft class, and I had no confidence. Because I had no plan. And Brewer comes up to me and he says, when are you going to wake up? Like, you're a year away from the big leagues. And I was like, who's he talking to?
Yeah.
But I want to say this to the point to try to, I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know what is the actual goal? Like, what does that, A ball, double A, triple A, how many innings is it going to be? What do you need to be really good at? Hey, Ross, I was a 2-pitch guy. I wasn't going to be a starter, but I was a reliever. Hey, so what? I'll go make a few $1,000,000 and be a reliever in the big leagues. I didn't have that plan. So when I work with these young guys with recruiting, I'm like, man, if you don't have a literally detailed out plan, and it's so crazy to hear you say that you didn't know it, I didn't know it, you made it. What was the difference?
I thought you were just supposed to barrel baseballs.
Man.
No, it's way more than that. And That's why we go back into the college versus pro thing that I was talking about. It's like, for me, college based is so much like, okay, I need to get my exit. Everything's so metric space these days. It's like, I need to get my speed to this point. I need to get my, exit velocity, my throwing velocity, whatever it is. Like, it's like from what I observe with the college stuff, like, not that it's all of it, but there seems to be a lot into the numbers and trying to get there as fast as possible.
Yes.
And one of the things that I've kind of recently been talking about too and kicking around, and again, it's like not articulated very well, but it's like, what would it take like to, if you could be 80% of your potential, but do it for 10 years, like what's the value in that? Like, instead of this like race and possible shortcuts and quick fixes, like what if we just took, I'm always talking about 10 years. It's like, for me, it took 10 years to figure out how to hit, how to be a ball player, like how to be a professional at the game. I didn't quite figure out that next level of being a major league day in, day out player and how to do that for 10 years. And so that's why when I get around those guys, I'm always like, hey, what do you think it takes to play 10 years in the big leagues? And like, you don't hear stuff about like, you need a good sinker.
Yes, that's, hey, you know what?
You're not going to get that answer.
But I'm going to steal something from you and say, like, we don't apply the logic that we use with all of our other areas of our life. And then all of a sudden, hey, Ross, what's your goal? Make it. I want to make it. What does making it look like? What is the goal? Yeah. I encourage anyone listening to this to really map it out and not just write it down. Like, what are the goals, and what is the process that you think to get to those goals? Finish up with that.
Yeah. And I think I have a love-hate relationship with goal setting. Or I shouldn't say hate. Hate's not a right word. It's I'm mindful. Because of the fact that like I've learned so much on the detours, it doesn't mean that I need to set goals, but it's like I've got to be open that this might not go the way that I want it to go. And coincidentally enough, I'm in a situation of life right now where I'm going through that. And I'm trying to remind myself. So I might be mostly speaking to myself. But another thing that I think I've learned and what I think I would like to see in the sporting community with the athletes and parents and stuff too is like, I think there's a lot of goals for the next year that probably should be 2 or 3 year goals.
That's it.
And I think if you allowed more time, the long-term results are going to be a lot better. Like, I think we're so caught up in where we want to be in 6 months for that next season that when I was heavily involved in like the mentor and mental coaching, I would always talk about like, don't worry about next year. Like, let's focus on where you're going to be in 5 years. Like, that's the vision I want you to hold. Because we might take a detour that we're going to learn something really important. But if we're always trying to strive to be in a rush or be under the pressure, there's a lot of pressure in today's game for all these young kids. Like, if we're going to be in the pressure of like trying to get to where we want to be in 6 weeks or 6 months, whatever it is, like, you don't really have any time for mistakes, and you're going to make plenty of mistakes. Yep. So I feel like we need that buffer of like extending our goals a little bit further. Like,
I love that.
Giving ourselves a little bit more time.
It's almost like giving yourself more grace for crying out
loud.
But
everything that you said, like the specifics and the details matter. I like to see a little bit more time given.
I like that. And to me, the way I interpret that is like build. Hey, just like baseball has a center fielder and a first baseman, build failure into the game. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
When you go to the field today, you're going to fail. But that's in the goal setting too. Hey, this is what the plan is. You say detours, and I say, hey, if you don't expect it, if you expect it to go exactly the way now you're wrong. But I like that, giving yourself time, because that's learning. Jason Botts, listen, man, you are the man. That's a long conversation, and it's beautiful. I appreciate you very much. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to take us out with the most impactful comment you've ever made in your life.
Oh, wow.
The
That's
smile
interesting.
says it all, my friend.
You know, when I was traveling around and I was doing mental skill stuff, I won't say I would never even think like of myself in such a way, but I remember I used to work with this one high school out in Keller, and they had a quote that they put on in the gym, um, and man, I'm really struggling to think of what it is right now. Um, Dang it, I'm blowing it right now. But
So am I.
there was something that was so impactful that I once said that it was put up inside of a gymnasium at a high school in Keller, Texas.
You know what? I'm going to go Keller Indians. You know what I'm going to take away from today? Here's the impact. Go listen to the podcast and listen. I'm going to take what Jason Botts, former big leaguer, talked about the strike zone. Boy, that was impactful, my
Yeah.
friend.
And if you want to know more details about the strike zone, that's actually my topic on Friday. Yeah, on Substack.
Hey,
Travel.
plug it real quick with the social media. Where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, I only do Facebook and Instagram, and I think Instagram is Have Bat Will Travel, and then it's _ Jason Bots. But I think if you just put Jason Bots out, that one will pop up, and Jason Bots on Facebook as well. And I know we didn't talk about today, but we do a lot. The boys and I do a lot of videos, and Sarah as well too. And one of the passions with creating the reels that have actually done pretty well these last 6 months is like kind of they're very intentional with like creating like a heart and spirit for the game itself. And really enjoying it within the family, and we do a lot of like it's not about the boys playing in games, it's about us playing in the yard and going through this journey together, telling our story. And yeah, I would appreciate any follows, but I really encourage it for you it's a good reminder just to see something on the screen that reminds you of what matters most. And for me, baseball is like, it's completely tied in. It's a family thing. It's just about family.
And you know what? I see that. I just love seeing taking hacks.
They're starting to come back around.
Hey, dude,
I'm a
I'm not gonna
full
lie.
year into baseball specific training again. The pop's starting to come back.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. It's a fun swing to watch, my friend. Jason Botts. Hey, I appreciate you. You'll be back for more at some point. I appreciate you. You go enjoy your day in the cold weather of Colorado. See you, man.
Thank you.